There's a story in Louisville long faded from view. Before this street was Muhammad Ali. Before that building was WDRB. A picture right here where I'm standing that's Louisville history. One you probably wouldn't recognize if I showed you.
This was the hub of the black community in Louisville, Kentucky.
They say history is who we are and why we are the way we are. For famed sculptor Ed Hamilton,
I will never get Walnut Street out of my blood.
Walnut Street's what we now drive down as Muhammad Ali Boulevard in Louisville. But when segregation split the city, Walnut between 6th and 13th was a booming place for black business. A place where African Americans worked, shopped, lived, and owned stores.
She was a pioneer back in those days because women weren't barbers, they were beauticians.
Hamilton's parents owned your valet shop. His mother, a barber. His father, a tailor.
Then he had these big, huge pinking shears, and that cut cloth, and you can't cut anything but cloth with those. Lord have mercy, I got in more trouble.
The shop was in the Mammoth Insurance Building at 6th and Walnut, one of the largest black-owned businesses in the state.
Growing up there was just phenomenal for me.
White people owned businesses and shopped here as well.
That was my dad's store. We lived upstairs.
In fact, 98-year-old Sonny Bash cherishes the memories of working in his father's store.
It meant so much to me. I'm telling you what's in here.
But Walnut Street had a different significance for African Americans in terms of economy. Historians say the 30s through the 50s saw Walnut Street at its best.
Thriving, yes, yeah.
City directories listed 154 black-owned businesses in 1932 alone.
Money was flowing.
And pictures tell the tale. Need to eat?
Old chili parlor was very popular.
Grab a drink?
Charlie Moore's.
Right next door.
It was located between 9th and 8th on Walnut Street.
2 newspapers and 3 theaters.
We went to the Lyric, to the Grand, and to the Palace.
The list goes on and on. And the more we talk to people,
everything was on Walnut Street.
It's like they could almost still see it today.
Still feel it.
Tonight we're going to be celebrating a place called the Top Hat Club.
That's why once a year Ken Clay hosts a night at the Top Hat.
Probably the most popular, most famous club on Louisville's Muhammad Ali Boulevard, formerly Walnut Street.
The Top Hat Club, once located at 13th and Walnut, brought singers, musicians, and crowds from all over.
In a way, it meant as much to the black community as churches and schools.
History was not kind to this street remembered with such love. In the 1950s and 60s, Louisville embraced urban renewal, a federal program designed to tear down properties and build back something new. Here's a list of some of the places in the renewal zone. The wrecking ball swung hard here. It forced families to move, it forced businesses to close, and by the end of the 60s, the 8 blocks of Walnut and those surrounding it, the heart of the black community, was flattened, dead, and gone. Many businesses moved but didn't survive. And what became of that precious land? Much of it now public housing for the poor.
We're approaching the area that was cleared by urban renewal.
History doesn't just tell us what happened. Some voices tell us why, like former Louisville Mayor Charles Farnsley.
Their motive was, as they told me, to drive the Negro back from the central area. They felt that way downtown wouldn't become the Black Belt. It was a cruel thing, and well, later, as you all know, urban renewal was called Negro removal by the Negroes and by the people who were sympathetic with them. And that's what it was. It almost always tore down the homes of black people or poor people.
Well, they separated it, just like a bomb that just blew up an area, and then it never came together again.
Everything just eroded.
It totally took away the aspect of being a part of a community of people who took care of each other.
You destroyed the business.
If it didn't destroy it, it wrecked it, to a point where it's not ever come back yet.
The demolition of Walnut Street fostered what we now call the 9th Street Divide. You're saying this community has paid the price of urban renewal for 70 years?
Absolutely. It severed the economic connection between the business district and all of West Louisville. A pattern of generational poverty set in that's been so hard to break.
Louisville Central Community Center's president and CEO, Kevin Fields, believes that mistake is coming to an end.
Where I grew up here in Building 16 at Beecher Terrace,
his hope rests on the $50 million revitalization of Beecher Terrace, directly across from what was the old Walnut Street business district. It became the city's most high poverty, low opportunity, and high crime community. The rebuild transforms this neighborhood to mixed income and supports a vision for redevelopment LCCC pushed for years.
not all low income, mixed use, but also mixed purpose.
Add to that the Urban League's multi-million-dollar track complex about a mile away, all designed to bring back what was broken long ago. The city renamed Walnut Street Muhammad Ali Boulevard in 1978. One of the few buildings still standing from its heyday is Mammoth Insurance, now River City Bank, where Hamilton's parents owned their store.
I think it's coming back. I can see images and I can feel the vibe.
Louisville now looks toward the past to carry it into the future,
I'm really optimistic
relying on history.
that that's going to pump more into the black communities.
Because to know where we're going, we must remember where we've been.